What is up, everyone? I am Pete, and welcome to Open Minded. With me here today is my good friend Sean Cronin. Sean, say hi.
Ya boy.
Ya boy. And today we're going to be talking about the potential 2020 presidential candidates.
This is a good one.
You jackass.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime.
Like the interesting thing is the houses you see around you are all solar houses.
21st Century Fox has been holding talks to sell most of the company to Walt Disney.
As most of you are aware of, the 2000 and what year was it? 2016 presidential.
It's been 2 years.
I can't believe it's been 2 years. Well,
Yeah, I
that
know.
was probably one of the craziest presidential races like ever known to man because of just the abundance of like insane characters that were running.
It was a cartoon.
It was literally like an episode of Family Guy.
Yeah. Except somebody laughed.
Yeah. You hear that, Seth? You suck.
Sorry, man. You gotta go.
But that being said, you know, not only was it one of the craziest races, but probably one of the least likely candidates with the craziest mouth was actually elected. And, you know, overall, I'm pretty happy with what he's doing so far. I mean, I live in California, so there's like part
Careful,
of me.
your neighbors might hear that. Yeah.
I know, right? Part of me is just like, you know, has like a shadow behind me going, no, free healthcare. But you know, I think that regardless of who is the president, if we want to like improve as a country, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. And I've said that before. And so some of the things that he, you know, is choosing to do might not be the most popular decision, especially on the leftist, like the left side. But
For sure.
But I think that most of them are pretty calculated. I mean, he has to be somewhat intelligent in order to become a successful businessman.
Oh, yeah.
But after he was elected, so many celebrities came out of like the woodwork and were just like, oh, if he could do it, then I can do it. So right now, I'm going to give my nomination for Kanye West 2020.
Hey, no, after this week, it's got to be Kanye 2024.
What?
Remember, they're dragon energy.
Oh, my God.
Did you see,
No,
all that?
no.
Or, you didn't see that, and you want to talk about Kanye? Oh, my God.
Tell me.
So
Tell me
all right,
about it.
I will tell you. Let's tell the world. So Kanye's all over the news this last week because he got in a picture with a MAGA hat. You know,
Oh, I did see. I saw the picture. Yeah.
Then he went on a Twitter tirade because people were like, "Oh, you sell out this, that," and he's like, "Oh my God, just because I'm black doesn't mean." Well, no, Chance the Rapper actually said black people don't have to vote for Democrats, and which is obviously true.
Yeah.
And Kanye's like, "I'm against monopolized thought and people trying to basically stamp all over my views and say because I live in California, because I'm black, this is this, like I can't vote for this." And then he made this really weird post where he's like, "I can't be mad at Donald Trump because we're brothers. We may not agree on everything, but we are both dragon energy. He is my brother." Dragon. Dude, the amount of memes that have come over, like there's one with Donald Trump and Kanye are hugging each other naked, and it's a fragrance, and it's like dragon energy. But Kanye tweets this shit, and Donald Trump retweets it and goes, "Thank you, Kanye. Very cool." Like it's a teacher getting like a correct answer from a suck-up first grade student. So this shit actually happens, and Kanye hasn't stopped fucking wearing MAGA hats in public, dude. So, I mean, yeah. Oh, also, by the way, Total Opportunistic, he's got a new album coming out soon. So his new single
Dropping that
on
new
Friday.
album.
Yeah, I haven't heard it yet, so I don't know if it's good, but I do love that old shit, Love Lockdown and stuff. That is classic music.
Well, when he announced that he wanted to run, I was just like, I can't even put words to it. I can't even describe the feeling that I had. But I'm sure a lot of people felt like that when Trump was announced his run.
Yeah, it's same exact thing. Except that one had a lot longer of time where it's like, you got those old Oprah videos of him saying like, a lot of people would say in the 80s, like, you'd run for president, right? I don't think I would unless I had to. Like, so that thing was momentum. But now, like you said, all these actors do want to jump on the thing and be like, well, if he can, so can I. And some people could probably pull it off.
Yeah, but what do you think about like people who don't have any political experience jumping into the most powerful political slot in the entire country? And
Well,
not only are they the most powerful, but they're also appointing people to other very powerful slots, and they don't understand, like, they don't even for instance, you know, Donald Trump has appointed so many people, and then like a month later it was like, wait a second,
never mind.
you're fired.
He needs to get rid of fucking Jeff Sessions, dude.
Oh my God, Jeff Sessions should be locked in a crypt and buried underneath mountains.
Jeff, if you're listening to this, which I hope you do, that would be great publicity. You need to go. You're a fucking idiot. But shit, what was the you asked like an open-ended question?
Yeah,
what was the first part of that?
What do you think about? What's your opinion about putting or electing people who don't have any political background?
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There's difference between experience and work experience. Like, okay, so when you mean Donald Trump, he doesn't have any political experience. Yeah, he didn't have political experience running. Like, you didn't have Senator Donald Trump or fucking Governor Donald Trump or anything like that.
Yeah.
However, he's been fucking smoozing with all these people for how many years? Like 40 years now? And he's been a part of this shit. He's been a fucking troll the entire time. So he knows, like, that's the difference between if, like, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson's like, yeah, politics, California, you know, #1 blockbuster hero, blah, blah, blah.
Rampage.
Rampage, Jesus Christ. Every fucking movie is the same. Oh, no, the next one is The Rock, but he's minus a leg.
Oh yeah,
so
minus a leg, +1 giant monkey.
Will he make that jump? No. The thing is, no, he couldn't do that because he hasn't been schmoozing with people. He's been a TV star and a movie star and like a wrestling star and all these other, you know, entries of entertainment, but he hasn't been. I mean, what did he say? He might have voted for Hillary Clinton. Like, if even that's the most he's ever really said anything until, you know, I might run for 2020, and then everyone's like, oh my God, if Donald Trump could do it, go The Rock. It's completely different.
You're right. Donald Trump is a successful business person who has not only has obviously some good negotiation skills. He like talks to and befriends a lot of people in the similar situations as him, like money wise, like and in America, which is, you know, a capitalist country, pretty much the people who have the money make the
he's used to running roughshod over people.
Yeah,
that's what he's been doing this entire fucking time.
Yeah.
So,
and have you seen those videos of him from like 30 years ago going, maybe I don't want to rule it out altogether? Like,
yeah. It goes past that. You should watch some interviews with him and David Letterman and shit like that in the 90s. It's weird seeing the I try to track down the year when it started looking like, oh shit, he might start entering politics and shit. It was only a couple years ago, because it was right around the time of the Comedy Central, the roast of Donald Trump. Like, right before that, no one was calling him racist. No one's saying this shit. He's on every fucking TV show. The dude fucking hosts Saturday Night Live. It's a weird Saturday Night Live. But it's really weird. But he's all over this shit. And then everyone's suddenly like, oh, shit.
He's racist.
No. He's racist. And it's just like, okay. That was a joke when I watched the monologue in the SNL thing. He's just talking, the crowd's like half reacting because his comedy is so fucking weird. And then somebody goes, you're racist, Donald Trump's racist. And then Donald Trump's, again, who said that? And the camera turns, it's fucking, what's his name from Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Larry David?
Larry David, yeah. He's just sitting there and he's like shaking his head. He's like, why are you saying that, Larry? And then Larry's like, I don't know, they told me they paid me $100 if I said Donald Trump's racist.
That's awesome.
It was pretty funny. But yeah, it was only a couple of years ago. I mean, he's been on all the talk shows in the entertainment. Hello, dog. That's my dog, Guinness, by the way.
Guinness.
Happy. But no, he's been doing the, like I said, he's been doing the schmoozing. He's been running roughshod over these people and doing it in front of an audience and trolling people for like 30 years. So it's not far-fetched to think that someone with no political background could do it again, but they'd have to have something at least equal up to it. So, spoiler warning, it's not going to be The Rock.
So it's not going to be The Rock. It's probably not going to be Kanye West. It's probably not going to be Will Smith.
Did he say he's going to run for president too?
There are rumors. I don't know if he hasn't come out and said it. Well, and just like The Rock hasn't come out and said, I'm going to run for president in 2020. Even when people bring it up in interviews, he's like, well, I'm flattered, but I don't know. But
have you seen these biceps?
oh my God. But what about Oprah? Oprah, I think, is like over the years has been just as influential of a like political or of a
presence.
Figure. Yeah, presence as Donald Trump, like helping people. I think she's one of the richest females in show business now. I think Judge Judy is the richest, but Oprah's Judge Judy.
How much is she worth?
I don't know. How many times does her show
let us know in the
on?
comments how much is Judge Judy worth. That's a scary thought. If she's worth more than Oprah, that's disturbing. About her, so I could see it's weird, man. Like when she said that stuff in the beginning of the year, and everyone's like going, "Oh my God, this is this." Again, that's way better stance than saying The Rock or Kanye or anything like that. But there's two things to take into consideration here. One was when I said Kanye dropped a new album,
and that album is called 2020 Presidential Election.
Dragon Energy.
Energy.
He was very opportunistic at this time. Like when Eminem did it the exact opposite way, and that did not work out. Go back on drugs, dude. Your new music sucks. But no, he did that shit when he was saying and like 2 weeks later, hey, we've got a new album coming out, like that. Oprah used that as an opportunity. Unfortunately, her, what is it, OWN or OWN, her media company, isn't doing, I don't think she's doing as well as, I mean, she's no Jeff Bezos, obviously, but she's not, fuck that guy. She's not doing as well as she could had she not split off from, what, NBC was it? I know that her network doesn't really, it's not broadcast everywhere. It doesn't pull insane ratings. So I think...
but she's a household name.
She isn't
just like Trump was.
Name. Yeah, but there's good times and bad times, but...
Yeah, at one point Trump was in so much bankruptcy that, you know... What was that story? He pointed at a homeless man and he said, that guy has more money than me.
Yeah. Well, she's not anywhere near that bad right now. No, she's not in that position, but she's obviously... Whether it be planned for that reason or not, it did bring attention to her. Probably got her a couple more million viewers a week or something like that. But everyone was talking about Oprah for, I guess, like about 2 weeks. The other thing about her is, could you? And I know you can say this again, Donald Trump. Could you imagine? Although when that started happening, this is very easy to see how it's going to go out. Could you imagine Oprah debating?
She'd just give everyone a free car and hope that she wins.
Leave that to Bernie Sanders. I could not see Oprah debating anybody.
Yeah.
I don't think she has the mannerism for that. And like when people were like, oh, Donald Trump didn't debate, he name call. I'm sorry, that was a really smart strategy. Get rid of all the neoconservatives, the neocon, the neolibs in the GOP that were all the same candidate, essentially.
Yep.
Just mock them and name call them. Dude, that was perfect. Because in 2 days, everyone's like, nah, screw this. I don't want to do this. And the media pushed it, like, look, all this name calling. That worked. I can't see Oprah doing that.
Definitely
I really
not.
cannot.
I think that she would be probably as professional as any other like political presidential candidate. She would probably be using both her star power and her like actual like political beliefs. Like I'm sure she's very on the left side.
Probably.
Even though she does have a lot of money, usually people with a lot of money are lean more toward the right because the right is traditionally the tax break people, but yet lately I feel like a lot of the stances, the leftist stances are like switching to the right and the rightist stances are switching to the left. Like it's all over the place.
Well, you got with the money thing, like people like Jeff Bezos and shit, you do have, again, it's opportunistic. Like, all right, for example, the Dick's Sporting Goods thing.
Mm-hmm.
stupid PR move, but it's them trying to say, hey, we're not going to sell assault weapons, whatever those are, because that's not a real thing. We're not going to sell those anymore. And that was an attempt to inject politics and make them money.
Yeah.
So sometimes when these millionaires do stuff like Jeff Bezos and Trump, we'll take them out of the equation because they hate each other due to taxes. But there is such a thing being basically a business Democrat, which essentially, if you go back to Democratic policies just 20 years ago, Trump is just the business Democrat.
Yeah, but
He's
ran
not-
as a Republican, which is
You had to. It was everyone knew it was gonna be Hillary Clinton. Dude, everyone knew that in 2012. It's like, all right, it's gonna be Hillary Clinton next time. So
Yeah.
if wise on him to do that, he probably would not have been able to. I mean, Bernie Sanders couldn't have beat Hillary the way that they ousted him. So he probably picked the smart move in doing the Republican thing. But yeah, so money wise. Let's go. Sorry, we might be going off a little off topic here. Money-wise, yeah, it could go either way, but I'll say Oprah probably leans left. I just can't see her debating anybody because I don't think there's any video of Oprah getting mad.
Yeah.
I do not see her as like controlling stuff. Although I haven't watched all of her episodes, seeing as there's like 10,000 of them.
Yeah.
But maybe there's evidence out there. I don't think that she could handle a position well. I think what she would be good at is bringing the attention there and trying to mirror how the primaries were in 2016 for the GOP, because that was everyone had to watch because Trump was like low energy Jeb and lying Ted and stuff. That was which was hilarious. I had no interest up until that point. Up until my brother was saying, "Oh hey,
Crooked Hillary."
Yeah, Crooked Hillary, Donald Trump's coming in and giving everyone nicknames and shit. And I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this. And hey, it works. What she could do is bring the star power to that, because otherwise it might be a very boring, whatever the hell the word is.
Race.
Yes.
Well, I see her coming in with her household name and her star power, and basically being another pawn in the Democratic party, where
Right.
just like any other, she would probably have the same political views as any other Democratic candidate, because they all have very, very similar views. The only difference would be everybody knows who Oprah Winfrey is, but not everybody knows who Cory Booker is. You know what I mean? So
Who the hell's Cory Booker?
oh well, don't get me started on Cory Booker. Actually, we are going to get started on him because we're going to start talking about the different candidates in 2020. After one more celebrity I'd like to point out, and
Okay.
I think of all the celebrity potential candidates that we've looked at, the only one that actually might have a chance, which makes me really sad to say this, and don't kill me, is Mark Zuckerberg. And the only reason I say that is because he literally controls our emotions.
Because he has none of his own. It's poetic in a sense. It's like a Disney movie. I am a cyborg. No, you want me to expand on the Zuckerberg thing?
Please
I
do.
didn't even put it in my notes because I was like, really? If we talk about him. All right. Jesus, where do I fucking start? Okay.
Well, he's a businessman, and he controls, this entity that like really does control what we see. Like, and not everybody, but most people nowadays get a lot of their information or spend a lot of their time on Facebook or Instagram, and
Right.
they have algorithms to literally sway you one way or the other, and and control your emotions and push you to make a decision or choice that you may not have chose. And that's the power of advertising. That's what advertising's been doing since the beginning. So I think that he definitely has a chance.
Well, that's a good point. However, the last month happened.
Yeah, that's true.
And no one likes him right now, because beforehand it was just the Republicans didn't like him because, we're getting censored. Which, I mean, I have very little. I'm on Facebook. It's obviously left leaning, but I have very rarely seen Republican people. Now, I have friends that I know their views in real life. But when I see their posts and they say, "Oh, this is this," I literally will have to go out of my way, or there'll be pages I have to see. It will take me a search of my own to go find these things. So everyone knows that they censor that thing.
Yep.
So beforehand, the left it's like, oh well, Mark Zuckerberg, oh Facebook, oh, because it's how traditionally they are. It's a new form of media. It's alt tech media.
Yep.
And the left is used to controlling that. Then that Cambridge University thing happened, like a month ago, which is, by the way, the dumbest thing for everyone to get upset about. Like, oh my God, this. So I actually, so then the left starts hating him. I made a post about this, and this is my other problem. Why are we still on Facebook?
Because MySpace sucks.
Oh, yeah, that would have been good 10 years ago. But do you see Facebook growing anymore, especially after this last month?
Well, I think that it could continue to grow. I think it's definitely going to slow down, and it has. But at the same time, still, regardless of all of that, like 90% of ads go through Facebook or Google. Which
is weird. But it's an all tech thing. I mean, it's bridge technology essentially to get to the next form of it.
Like
but,
my employer uses online advertising, much like any employer.
It's smart.
It's the smart way to go. It's kind of like the future because people are getting away from traditional media like cable television, and nobody like who buys magazines and stuff like that anymore.
Yeah.
Like people get most of their news or people spend most of their time on some type of social media, and so in order to get them to come to your business or get them to know about your business, that's probably the best way to advertise. But regardless, even with Google and YouTube and like Twitter and Snapchat and all these like games and stuff that have advertisements, still like 90% of them go through Facebook. So, most employers will probably spend most of their money in Google and Facebook for their advertising. So, and Facebook is always buying small startup companies. Like,
oh yeah,
you should see the
any
list.
competition.
Yeah, any type of competition or anything that can help boost their
presence.
brand. Yeah, their presence.
Yeah, their brand too. Yeah.
So, and they're constantly, you should see the list. It's like 500 since the beginning of their company. They've bought up like over 500 small startup companies, and some of them weren't that small, like Instagram. And now Instagram is part of Facebook, and so they have like long-term business models. So I can definitely see them continuing to grow. It just may slow down for a little while, but even during the trial of Mark Zuckerberg.
Trial.
Yeah. The question.
Which I want to point out for anyone that wasn't aware of this. Mark Zuckerberg lied there
Under oath.
twice. No, he was never under oath.
Really?
Dude, he's got money in those dudes' pockets. Come on, really?
Yeah,
he was never under oath. That's something that people go like, oh my God, well he didn't lie. He didn't lie that much, or like, well, he did lie under oath. He was never under oath.
That's insane. Why would they have like a hearing like that and not the person who's
Yeah.
I mean, how do you think those senators and congressmen are gonna pay for their next election? Zuckerberg.
Dude, you should
got the
check
Zuck
out
in the back pocket.
I am in your back pocket.exe. Yeah, dude, some of those senators really had no idea what the hell Facebook even was.
Or the internet, for that matter.
Yeah, seriously, for the internet. This new interwebs. It's a series of tubes. Yeah, that was...
So it's a web like a spider web, right?
I could read books on there. I could watch Matlock on the Facebook. No. Okay, I'll give you this. I'll give you Mark Zuckerberg is more likely than Dwayne Johnson or Oprah. But again, he is how one of my political guys puts it, he is a Generation 2 synth. So he's not even remotely human.
Generation 2.
Yeah. He is, dude. He is so unlike. Like, there's a difference between Drumpf is mean and rude, and
Drumpf.
This guy can't even blink correctly. It's very, very impossible to like him. Let alone watching him debate. That would be very, very weird. But I'll give you this: the celebrity thing. I'll put him on top. I'll be with you on that.
Well, okay, regardless of celebrities, now I know that's like a huge thing now, and I'm sure that in every single race from here on out, there's going to be at least a couple of rich celebrities who throw their names in the race.
Oh, yeah.
But there are still, like, lifelong political careerists that are planning on running, and the funny thing, I told you, I was gonna wait for the actual podcast to tell you this. I searched presidential candidates 2020, and the first thing that popped up was top 10 Democrats to look for in 2020. And I keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and there's nothing about any Republican candidates. So Google sent me just straight to the Democrats.
Well, I mean, what do you think else is going to happen? I don't think Rand Paul is going to jump in and be like, dude, I know, Trump, you had some good ideas here for the economy, but it's time to go drop the full fucking neocon thing and let's just go fucking libertarian. I don't think anyone would actually challenge, like fucking, what is Senator Flake from Arizona, whatever the fuck his name is, said he was going to try to usurp Trump for 2020. I don't see that happening, man. It's too conflicting of actually, it's too love or hate the guy to actually say we're going to, the incumbent president, we're just going to like dethrone him and make him do the campaign again. I don't think that's going to happen this time.
I think that Trump being president has really, not because of him specifically, but the fact that he is president has really diminished the Republican Party like a lot because now when people look at Republicans, people on the left will look at Republicans and say they're all going to be crazy like Trump, and people who actually supported Trump are going to look at Republicans and say they're too extreme. Like because some Republicans are more extreme than Trump. Like, I mean, look at the people who he's surrounding himself with, Jeff Sessions and Mike Pence, all these extreme religious rightists who have zero tolerance for anything outside of their religion and don't respect the separation of church and state. And they want to implement their religious beliefs into the school systems and into our personal lives. Like, no.
No, continue. My dog is having a conversation with the outside dog.
Nice.
But it's a cute dog, but yeah.
Cute dog.
Continue.
But
yeah.
So people, we've always been like torn in our country between, leftists and rightists, but it seems to be getting way worse to a point where people are hating the opposite side so much as if they were rooting for their favorite football team. Like,
yeah.
Like they don't even look at the politics behind it. Because if you really think about it, the people on the left want to control your freedoms pretty much, and the people on the right want to control your bank. No, the other way around. People on the right want to control your freedoms. People on the left want to control your money.
All right. So you're not wrong. There's a lot to unpack here. I'll try to not dismantle it, but I'll try to touch it really quick. Number one, there's a huge paradigm shift going on. What's left, again, like I said with Trump earlier, 20 years ago left, I think that stands for like 90% of Americans. What the left is now is not what it was. Like when Hillary's running, her policies are nothing of Bill Clinton's, unless you say, we need to invade this country or anything like that, or intervene in this. That is the only thing the same. Everything else, because it's in a schism right now, and I'll get to that one later, but the Republican Party had a schism with the whole Acorn and Tea Party thing in 2012. They had a huge schism, and it was like, okay, are we going to keep being neocons like George Bush, or are we going to become more like libertarians? And so the party had this schism. Trump actually did have a lot to do with it because he was an opportunistic. He saw the anti-establishment side and rooted for that one, but he also got which he doesn't give a shit about, the religious thing. He grabbed that in he showed up at church like twice or some shit, and he's like, I read the Bible once, it was great.
God bless America.
Exactly, yeah. So he got all of the Bible thing. I mean, like most of those people, like they know that he's not religious. They don't care though, but in that sense they are partisans. But those are also older people for the demographic. Now the new rights is people that have been screwed over and see people. I'm not talking alt-right. That group is so small. Do not believe what the media says about that shit. And half of them don't even know what they even stand for anyway. But no, they had their paradigm shift. They had their schism. And while there may be separatist groups, there always will be. Separatists versus federalists. No, the problem with the left is, which I guess I'll get into right now, they can't decide if they want to be neo-libertarian or neoliberals or if they want to be progressive socialists. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, a lot of them seem to think it's the same thing. It is not, and one cannot coexist with the other. I'm going to give example here because
Please do.
at my job, I work with this guy. Let's just call him Terry. His name's Greg. Fuck it. The secret's out. No. So I talked about this guy with over politics since the last almost decade. I've known him for a long time. It's just he's a gay dude. He's a really cool, good friend of mine. But he still thinks that it's 1994 with politics. Like he still thinks anything the left says, yes, it is the best thing. But when you bring evidence into him, dude, this just happened. Okay, let's say for example, Hillary Clinton said this. Yeah, I totally support it. You said you liked when Obama said this, when they started splitting off from each other. Well, I like both. Greg, these are the exact opposite things. You cannot have the same. It's basically something that was less government and more and complete government control. You cannot have the same result. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, they're so far removed. They still think it's the mid '90s. Mm-hmm. That there's this new band coming out called Nirvana. This hip new young Kurt Cobain guy. He's
got a bright future ahead of him.
It's so bright. You might say it's like a gunshot.
So you might say it's explosive.
Oh, that was a better pun than mine was. But yeah, so they still think it's the 90s. So they haven't had their paradigm shift, which actually I will say to any Democrats listening, partisan. Honestly, it's bad to be partisan. In my opinion, it's bad to be any form of partisan because you lose sight of what anything stands for. Like when you said with the football team thing, people still hear cheering for the Bucks. Dude, the Bucks suck. I'm sorry. I want them to win too, but goddamn it, they suck. But no, the people. If you're partisan, you start to lose sight of what you stand for, and you just start aligning for something on one side, and it will always step over your beliefs in the way of gaining a momentarily. Yeah, my dog's crying right now. A momentary gain, oh, we won this house in 2018. Dude, you just lost everything you stood for. Yeah, but our team won. They're not your team. It doesn't matter. So that's a huge thing. If I will say this to any Democrats, if we're talking about this 2020 thing, and honestly, dude, there's no blue wave. It's not happening anymore for 2018. It's weird that you don't see that anymore in the news. Blue wave coming? It's gone. It's not going to happen. You're not going to take the House. You're not going to take the Senate. What you should hope for is a complete and utter loss. The DNC is completely broke. They're suing the planet right now. They're suing Donald. Seriously, they're suing Donald Trump, all his voters, WikiLeaks, Russia, the plants in my backyard, man. They're suing everybody because they don't have any money. You want them to lose because they need their schism. They need to completely collapse and have a platform because they do not have a platform right now. What is their platform? I'm not Trump.
Yeah. Even the things that Trump is doing that is actually good for the country and good for the people who have those leftist beliefs, they're still nope. It's because Trump said it. It's terrible. It's the worst thing ever.
Unfortunately they're out of touch with reality. You with the fucking I say fuck a lot. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You don't have to bleep out. Fuck's cool. No, because the Rust Belt was almost entirely won over by Trump. These are union workers that are completely long-standing left-leaning people. They still voted him in. Why? Because they know that this stuff doesn't work. The Democrats have to convince most of America why they just were saying Trump is a Nazi over giving people more of their money. I'm sorry, most people are not like me, are not going to go, they're going to remember, hey, I get an extra $100 or $200 a month now because of these tax cuts, which I do. Most people do, at least bare minimum, and I am not rich by any means. That's a decent amount of money, and we all know who did that. So now they have to justify, hey, that money was fascist, Nazi, racist money, so we got to take it back. You have to justify to all these people, hey, I need that. So you want to lose, you want all these people to go away, and you need a platform because unfortunately, as it stands right now, the most important face of the Democratic Party, like it or not, is Hillary Clinton because she won't go the fuck away.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
She won't take a hint.
Yeah, she has to blame everybody. That's hurting them.
Well,
just hope for a failure, and then you can get a platform and all these new people. Which I got a list of people that I'm actually interested in talking about too. But it can't be. You need to choose between the progressive thing or the neoliberal, or let's say classic liberal thing.
Yeah.
I mean they're different, but
Yeah, and classic liberals are pretty much libertarians, though.
Yeah. Well, at its core beliefs, it should be most people, but it's really hard to explain that to people.
Well, and it's because people have that home team mentality. They, like you said, their home team is trampling over their beliefs, and they don't care because it's. And I feel like this started right in, like during the Obama race in 2008. He's turned it into a popularity contest. You know, he was one of the first ones to go on like MTV and like, you know, interact with the people, like the young people who are the ones who are making the most of an impact. And he turned it into a popularity contest. It's always kind of been a popularity contest.
Yeah, but no, you're not wrong because, I mean, what other president every 2 months was like, tonight on Jimmy Kimmel, who cares? It's Obama. And then he gives Ellen DeGeneres like a Congressional Medal of Honor or something like that. There's people like that die in the military, and they're like, by the way, Ellen, you know, for having that one show that people watched in the 90s and then a talk show that is just left on when people get haircuts. Here's a Medal of Honor. I don't remember the thing that he gave her, but it was a highly prestigious medal. Yeah. And you're not wrong. It has always been that way, but yeah, he definitely upped the ante.
Definitely.
And that caused a lot of people to get angry.
And you know, it's always been, the country I think has always been torn, like between one side and the other. But like you said, the Republicans have had their like schism, their shift, and the Democrats are kind of at odds with themselves. And why can't we all just like meet in the middle somewhere and do what's best for our country? See, because you're saying you're hoping for a loss on the Democrat side because then they might rethink their strategy and rethink what they stand for. I think maybe the entire country needs one of those because we seem to be heading in a direction that doesn't look too bright, in my opinion.
In some ways it could be, yeah. I mean, not money. Money thing seems pretty good right now. Not gonna lie. Yeah. But I know what you're saying. Too much government intervention, and them basically becoming the empire. And from Star Wars, sorry to bring Star Wars up, but
I'm never opposed to talking about Star Wars.
Oh, how much you love The Last Jedi?
God damn it!
I'm not talking about that, dude. I'm so over talking about that movie. But yeah, so all right, so like I said, let's go over the more like the actual politician side. Like, who do you think stands a chance on the Democratic Party? Because there are, I was going through some lists earlier, and there's some constant namings of people like Gillibrand and Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders and all that stuff. So, Bernie, if you want to go over those, let's go over those.
So, on Google, when I typed in presidential candidates 2020, it first came up with the top 10 Democrats to watch for in 2020. So I guess we'll go off of their list because Google knows everything, right?
They know your mind.
So obviously number 1 is Bernie.
Do you? I don't like crushing people's dreams, but do you want me to take this apart?
Oh, crush them.
Okay.
Well, let me say something first. I think he has good intentions.
Yes, he does.
But he has no understanding of how to run any type of business or government. He thinks that it's reasonable to tax people 70% or 80% of their income and then give that to people who don't work.
Right.
I mean, okay, that's all.
Right.
I can't even.
You're not wrong. Okay, no. That's the thing, because I had a friend of mine post something today, which when this stuff happens, it's like, I know what you mean, but no. They post a meme that's, I mean, if you can't, some people don't understand this, but it's a meme from Tumblr, right? It's somebody going, oh, $15 an hour is stupid because this is this. Then it's a long list of people going, well, $15 an hour should be mandatory because you only make this much with minimum wage and blah, blah, blah. And insurance and finding a home, and it's not enough that we make this a minimum wage. And then someone in the back's like, oh my God, yes. Like, and that's a meme, and people share that. Look, your intention is good, but I cannot believe that you cannot comprehend that that's complete propaganda. That is literally, I see this stuff every day on Facebook. It's literally socialist propaganda. And there's a difference between democratic socialism, and socialism, as in you vote the dictator in before he cuts your family into pieces and you have to eat dog food. It's sorry, it's not going to work. Not only is the $15 an hour minimum wage thing stupid on many levels, but let's just keep focused and talk about Bernie Sanders.
Bernie.
Like I said when this meme was posted, your heart's in the right place. Yes, there is unfairness. There is a whole wealth disparagement. Some people say it's actually the least it's been in like 100 years. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. There's other sides that say we're the worst ever.
Yeah.
But it can go either way. Either way, people want more. Not because we're greedy, which is weird because you want to be socialist, but whatever. Your heart's in the right place.
People feel, and this is one of the main issues, people feel like they're being treated unfairly, and that partially has to do, I think, with the entitlement issue in our country, where a lot of people feel like they're entitled to certain things. But another part of it actually, I think, roots from the fact that we don't have, the trust in our government, and we feel like we're if the majority of people feel a certain way, then some part of it must be true.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, you should never try and enact something with feelings, because you always have bad results.
But
that doesn't work. All right, so yeah, you're crying. I already got started. You got emotional now. All right, so number one, like I said, and you were right. His heart's in the right place, but this guy can't do basic math. So let's go over. I made a list. I would say he has less chance now than he would in 2016 for three reasons. Number one, he wouldn't have won. Anybody that says, "Oh, he would have beaten," no, he wouldn't have, dude. Most of the country, I think he would have performed less than Hillary Clinton.
You think so?
Yes, Hillary's campaign was, "I have a vagina and vote for me." People do not know her stance because she had none, except for, "I want to invade Iran and bomb Russia." It's not a good stance, but whatever. But most people, if it would be Trump or Sanders, can you imagine the debates, but could you imagine the stances? Trump, "I want everyone to be wealthy like me. I'm the big business guy for the last decade. Everybody knows me. Money, money, money." And Bernie Sanders being like, "I need to give you more money. To do that, I have to take away all your money. So that way, the money, it's not fair that 99%, like, dude, it's dumb." I think he would have done way worse than Hillary Clinton, me personally, but it doesn't matter. He has a less chance in 2016 for three reasons. Number one,
you mean in 2020?
2020, sorry. Less chance now than he had back then.
Yeah.
Number one, his base, a lot of them flocked to Trump.
Yeah.
And people might be like, "No, he didn't." No, dude, I know a shit ton of people that flocked to Donald Trump from Bernie Sanders because of the whole WikiLeaks thing proving that he was screwed over. They're like, "Oh my God." Then they started second guessing everything. His stance on them, like walking all over him, be like, "Oh, it wasn't unfair, whatever. I Super Tuesday, I know I got shafted, but Hillary Clinton, who is the exact opposite of me, should be president because Donald Trump is a meanie-weenie, big fat fofini weenie." And that's the second part, is he let Clinton walk all over him. And you can't justify you running again because you got cheated with. That makes you look really weak and really dumb. And the third thing is that stupid Black Lives Matter protest that made him look like a complete. That was
when he let the girls just like yell in his face and then
again,
talk to the crowd.
Yes, heart's in the right place. You look weak as shit. Why can't anybody take the podium now? I have things to say too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That made him look like a complete disaster for strength wise.
And I know he was doing it. Yeah. He was doing it because he wanted to be respectful, and he didn't want to silence anybody like specifically. Which I think, like we keep saying, is his heart was in the right place. But and then Trump is the exact opposite. Trump is the person who pushes back, and he doesn't. Trump is like, okay, perfect analogy. Bernie Sanders is like George McFly, and Trump is like Trump is like, well, Trump is kind of like Biff, but Trump's like Marty too, where somebody calls him a chicken and he's like, "Oh yeah, nobody calls me chicken." And then Bernie's just like, "I just don't like confrontation."
You are my density. I mean, my destiny. Though it's not fair that 99% of Biff gets to take you out on the win the ball without it.
The
No,
enchantment under the sea ball.
The enchantment under the sea ball. I should be able to dance with you. No, you're right about that. That's actually really funny. A couple other reasons why he'll never win is we're not going to be socialist. The way America works, it's so different. When he gives all these, and Denmark gets this, and Finland gets this, and Sweden gets this, he also cherry picks from that nation's best strength, and he leaves out all the bad parts. For like example, they're like, oh, Denmark makes this. Also, again, these propaganda memes. I think it's Denmark. It's most of them. Those socialist, democratic socialist European countries, they don't have minimum wages. But they say that on the memes, so like they make $15 an hour or like 20. I looked them up; they don't have any. You had to negotiate with a union your rate of pay, which is equal. It's actually less than or equal to our minimum wage.
Really?
Yes, there is no minimum wage in most of these countries. You've been reading lies because everybody does. They're just like it's like be like not Venezuela. You don't want to be like Venezuela, but that is how Bernie's thing would have ended up.
I think so.
Be like this country and this country. It's like they're smart. Be like them. I'm sorry, dude. That's propaganda. And if you look up any of the facts, that's cherry picked. There was another one where it's like, oh, cars, like less people drive cars. Well, yes, it's smaller, but also there's a 200% car tax when you buy a new car.
Yeah.
Like if it's like 20 grand, you're paying like 40 grand and then some. Then you have pollution tax. Then your gas is like $8 a gallon. Your electricity you're basically paying what Al Gore would like you to do, and you're like we're offsetting this. No, you're just giving the government more money. You think they're actually making a difference? No. So this shit doesn't really work. Also, the fact that you are a very small country and half of you guys don't even have, you're like most of you are coastal, but you guys your fishing is controlled by the EU. So you have no say in like coastal shipment and coastal fishing, like coastal jobs and blue collar jobs. You don't. There's no comparative. You just scrunched into like 2 cities. It takes a half hour to drive through the entire country, and everyone works in office, and everyone rides a bike, and everyone's so happy. And it doesn't work that way in America. It'd be impossible.
You're right.
And also, again, he was against the tax cut more than anybody, so he has to justify.
He wanted a tax raise. He wanted to raise taxes by a lot.
He has to justify why he wants to take your money. So that's enough for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, what about Joe? What about
Joe Biden?
Joe Biden.
Creepy Joe Biden. I will say that the campaign wouldn't be good if somebody literally just bought an ad of him being really weird to little girls. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Dude, it wouldn't even have to be Trump. It would just be some guy that like lives in fucking Nebraska and just buys an ad for a minute. It's just Joe whispering into little girls' ears and saying the creepiest shit possible. You can say pussy grab stuff all you want about Trump, but dude, there's footage, evidence, and it's of little girls. That stuff is creepy as shit. Okay, I'm not going to say no. He has a better chance than Bernie Sanders, but he's older than Bernie Sanders and Trump. He may not look it. He's. I had to look that up today.
See, and that's remember when Bush was running in the 2000s, and everyone was like, Dick Cheney's too old to be the president. Like, we can't even have him as vice president because if he becomes president, he might die.
Yeah.
Well, now look at who's freaking running. It's like.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Trump is 71. Bernie Sanders was teeth make him look like he's 80 million, but I don't know how old Bernie Sanders he's just as old, but he doesn't have very much energy, probably because he never had a job. But Joe Biden is 75. So imagine if in 2020, right? Let's say he got elected, he'd be 77 or 78, and then you have to tax in 8 years after that. If he got a successful 2-term thing, he'd be almost 90 years old. Ronald Reagan had dementia. And the last couple of years of his presidency, you don't think Joe Biden's going to? He's kind of incoherent now. People did like him when he was vice president because he was the basically the yin and yang to Obama. Not because he's black and white, but because Obama was so young, charismatic, and he well spoke. Except if you watch those videos with the teleprompter breaks. You ever watch those?
No.
Dude, people made a song about it.
He's just like
he turns it to because he's used to reading scripts and stuff so long, which it's not fair. But I mean, you're a busy dude, but it's hilarious. He literally just goes to the thing, the teleprompter breaks, and he just goes, if we provocative tweets, like he doesn't make any coherent sense. So somebody literally made a song that just goes like. If like an EDM song of just Obama doing that, it's hilarious. But so he was very charismatic in doing that, like the JFK thing, giving speeches. Joe Biden's kind of incoherent and old. That he played a good yang vice president. They made a nice comedic duo. Like, oh, there goes old Joe. But I don't think he's got
What it takes.
I don't think he has what it takes. He's better than Bernie Sanders. I'll give you that.
So, have you heard of Cory Booker?
No, school me on Cory Booker.
Well, Cory, he's a senator from New Jersey, and he was the mayor of New Jersey, of Newark, I believe. And he right now is like heading the bill to legalize marijuana federally. So
Right.
he's making a lot of waves in Washington right now, and there's a lot of people who are like supporting him and following him. My problem with him is my problem with most candidates is the people who are backing him financially
Oh yeah.
traditionally have been in 2016 alone he got over $400,000 from pharmaceutical companies.
Oh, that's good.
So and pharmaceutical companies who were originally against the legalization of marijuana, which is why some years ago he was against the legalization of marijuana. Now, one of the companies who was backing him is thinking about investing in the medical marijuana business, and all of a sudden his tune changed. Now he wants medical marijuana and recreational marijuana as well to be legal. And I actually read today that he has temporarily paused the financial help from pharmaceutical companies because he feels that he's getting too much of a backlash from the community, and people are not liking that he's backed by these pharmaceutical companies that, you know, that have a huge agenda, probably one of the the biggest agendas
Right.
of any other financial backers, other than like candidates who are receiving funds from other governments. Hillary Clinton.
It's almost as bad. It's almost as bad.
Yeah,
But,
it is because you know, these corporations that are helping fund his campaigns. First of all, I just think it's bullshit that all of these politicians, they're only concerned with getting reelected and making as much money as possible. You know, public service is supposed to be something where you're not making a lot of money because you're giving up your financial security to help other people and to help your community and your country. But
Right.
that's their main, you know, focus right now. And I do agree with his stance on legalizing marijuana, but the way that he's coming about it is
Yeah, it's not very
completely
good.
crooked. And everyone who I've talked to, or not everybody, but a couple of people who I've talked to are like, so what, as long as weed's legal, man? And I'm like, really?
Could you imagine, dude? Imagine this scenario, right? This dude that you're talking about. What was his name? Joe Cocker.
Oh, Cory Booker.
Cory Booker. Now imagine if his entire campaign, right? He's like, oh, legalize weed and this, which I would say safe to say most people in 2018 are like, fuck it, just do it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Although
Except for Jeff.
don't be dumb about fuck Jeff Sessions. Don't be dumb about it. But you know, clean up our streets, do this. You can tax it, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I think most people are for the idea of it. But imagine if this happened, right? Cory starts campaigning. He's like the top dog. He seals the DNC nomination, and that's one of his biggest things is making legalized weed. Trump comes in and he fires Jeff Sessions. He's like, guys, weed's legal.
Like right before the election.
Right, like how Obama was like, shit, people are getting really weird on me for not liking gay marriage and civil unions. Fuck it, I'm going to take credit for it. Guys, gay marriage. And like he did it in one day. It was like this.
Yep.
Everyone's like, what the hell? Imagine if Trump did that. Just one day, like in October. Shit, I don't have a platform anymore. That would
Legalize
be
it.
hilarious. I honestly, I would believe if Trump did something that insanely easy, he would probably, everyone would be like, oh, one of the greatest presidents of all time. Like, for
Literally.
people our age, that matters a lot. I don't really give a shit. I don't really smoke weed that much anymore.
Well, it's
But-
right now in our country, it's just as controversial as in the 1920s with alcoholic prohibition. Like, nobody wanted that shit.
Just a bunch of moms against drunk drivers and shit.
Yeah.
Mad.
But
Yeah.
you're right. If Trump legalized marijuana, which he
He has to fire Jeff Sessions anyway.
Well, why the fuck did he did he appoint Jeff Sessions in the first?
I don't
place?
know, dude. I don't know.
Oh no, I know why. It's because Jeff Sessions is very strongly against illegal immigration, and Trump thought that if he brought this guy on, who that's his main focus is illegal immigration, that maybe it'll help him in his agenda of stopping and slowing down illegal. But Jeff also has other crazy rightist beliefs that are stupid. Anyway.
Stupid shit. I'm gonna have to look up that Cory Booker guy because I completely understand why people get mad.
Well, he's a smooth talker too. I think that if he can gain enough attention, which from his marijuana bill that he's proposing, I think he's gonna get a lot of attention. He's young. He's a smooth talker. And people are comparing him to Obama and saying he's like the new Obama because of the way that he presents himself. And
right.
So I definitely think that he has a chance.
Okay.
Regardless of how I feel about him, but it's really hard to even say that about one specific person in politics because how can you even determine who's being bought out and who's genuine nowadays? Yeah. You can't.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Let's go down. What about Elizabeth Warren, dude?
I don't really know much about her.
I tried looking at her. All I could find is her complaining for the last 20 years.
Doesn't she have a lot of the same beliefs as Bernie Sanders? Like, aren't they kind of on the same page with a lot of stuff?
A lot of it, yeah, but she's not as hardline socialist kind of thing. She's progressive. That's not a winning ticket, though. And she was a Republican until the 90s.
Really?
Found that out this morning. Yeah. I couldn't imagine her debating Trump, dude. She doesn't even take when Trump calls her Pocahontas well. So I imagine the debates on that one. I just don't see her having the energy or charisma or anything like that.
I don't see anybody like Trump's personality is what really got him the election, and that's why he has such a crazy personality. And it's like the Howard Stern thing. People listen to him because they hated him, and people listen to him because they loved him. Like, and he got so much free advertisements just from the stuff that he was saying.
Oh yeah,
it's insane.
Completely.
It's insane. So I mean, on the Democrats, like those are really all the
There's one. I think there's one other maybe. I was looking her up this morning. I'm like, what? Because they can't decide if they want someone like her or not. Kristen Gillibrand. I think she's a senator.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard the name before, and I didn't really know of her. I looked her up.
She did some of her political beliefs, like how
she's in the middle. She's kind of like an Obama, but so that's
moderate
a problem
Democrat.
Too. Yes, moderate Democrat, but extreme moderate, extreme PC. If you put socialism and neoliberalism on the sides and put PC in the middle, she's extreme PC. But which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's never a good thing, but this part is good. In the Me Too movement, she actually criticized Bill Clinton and stuff. Which you kind of need to do, especially if that's a fully left movement. You kind of need to do that. However, she did say Hillary is her biggest role model, which is probably the only person in the history of mankind that's ever said that. She did criticize Al Franken when the groping thing. She was like, as soon as it happened, like, dude, you need to go. That's good, because he just made him look bad for like 2 months, and his apology was so hilarious. Just blame everybody else. Like she should have had boobs. Basically, is what his apology was.
Oh my god.
But yeah, her I guess would be the only one because she's moderate enough. Everyone else is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if the Democrats do win the election, do you see it being moderate though, or do you think if they do win, it's going to be an extremist? Because I feel like every election, ever since Bill Clinton, it was like he was on the left, but he was kind of a moderate, and then Bush was on the right, and he was a little bit more conservative than moderate, and then Obama was on the left, and he was a little bit more Democrat than moderate, and then now Trump, and I don't know. It's just like it.
To me, the Clinton, Bush, and Obama are like the same person. After a while, they kind of foreign policy together. And everything. Yeah, just total government interventionism and invade other countries and bomb them for no reason. Yeah, seems to be the go-to thing. I say my stance. I think you guys should lose horribly in the 2018 election. Get a platform. Please drop the PC stuff. That's so dumb. And no one will be even talking about it in 20 years. Again, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a libertarian. I'm not a Democrat.
You're an individual thinker.
I'm Dragon Energy. I'm Kanye. I think you should lose very badly, very, very badly. There was no blue wave in 2018. Let it happen. Just let it lose so you can get a platform, so you can have a reason, so you could inspire people and have a message. Then I might vote for you.
Yeah, I agree. Now on the right, the only three people that it seems like are kind of in the running are John Kasich,
no.
Jeff Flake, and Mitt Romney. And
Mitt Romney.
yeah. Apparently, he's thinking about running again.
Oh my God.
And I don't see any of them really making a wave, and especially if Trump runs again, which I don't know. Do you think he will?
Yeah. He already announced it.
Really?
He said like 2 weeks ago. He's like, I never said I wasn't. I've been campaigning this whole time. It's like, Jesus, dude. I think you want to be really good in 2024.
What?
Kanye and Ron Paul. Rand Paul. Sorry, not Ron Paul.
Do you really think Rand Paul would have Kanye? Wait, are you saying Kanye first and Rand as his vice?
But let's switch it. Rand Paul president and Kanye making beats in the back. Like anytime Rand Paul makes a speech, just Kanye's like fucking freestyle and shit, like fucking copying him. That would be a great winning ticket. I'd totally be all over that.
I might vote for them if Rand is in the front running, then I might do that. But
it's one of the only good senators we have.
And do you think that is because he is the most moderate and like libertarian of all of the senators, of all of anybody in 100%. Washington right now? What do you think of the like a third party like making more of a wave this coming election? Do you think that's because I believe that the Libertarian Party had one of the highest turnouts in votes
it ever had.
Yeah, it was only still 4%.
Well, no, I think it was like one or two states. I think it got double digits. Could be wrong.
I voted for
Gary Johnson.
I almost said Gary Oldman.
That would be cool.
Gary Oldman. Yeah, I voted for Gary Johnson. I consider myself a libertarian. If I absolutely have to categorize myself, which I hate doing, I would put myself into the Libertarian Party because it's the most moderate, fiscally conservative, socially liberal, and everybody is happy.
I couldn't. There's a problem though, is that up until like a month ago, I was in the same boat. I couldn't do it, man, because the party doesn't know what it wants to do. There's a joke on its Reddit was the joke is there's so many fractured. I forgot what the joke was, damn it. But basically it's the most fractured belief system there is because it's so simple and no one wants to. If you go on their Facebook page, dude, they're more progressive than Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense. And there's a lot of things that Gary Johnson did that was like, dude, that is not the libertarian view. I'm sorry. Like, you can't.
You're right.
You can't sit. When you had to freak out about they're undocumented immigrant. Oh my God, dude, he's so meme-worthy sometimes.
He is.
But I'm sorry, that is literally the exact opposite of what a libertarian should. And what most of them say is you need a strong border defense just to be contained. Mm-hmm. Anybody can come in. You just have to be contained, and everyone could be prosperous and live peacefully with the least government intervention as possible. If you don't have a border, you're kind of asking for more government to be in there. And then the problem is people like my brother and my friend Ryan are like, oh, libertarian, I think you'd love this. Libertarian is far right. Like, as far right as you can go.
What?
Yes.
No
dude.
way.
That's what they say. I'm like, I'm a libertarian. They're like, no, libertarians are far right. I'm like, how? It's the same. I'm like, so wait, are they one skip away from Nazis? And their defense is Nazis are actually on the left because they said Socialist Workers Party. I'm like, so everyone that's bad in your eyes is on the left. Yeah. Wow, you guys are idiots. Don't be Democrats. PSA. Or not, don't be Democrats. You can be a Democrat. Don't be a partisan.
Yeah.
Don't become a partisan hack. You will be dumb.
That's the main issue with people's views nowadays is a lot of people have partisan views where if you have an open mind about things and
open-minded.
Hint, hint. And you know, I just think that if everybody thought about what was best for society versus what their political or their like religious beliefs or any type of specific beliefs, if everybody can live in prosperity, then everybody would be happy. But I guess that's not how the real world works.
Yeah, I guess it's all about pragmatism.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to be a libertarian party if it knew what it wanted. So I'm going to call myself a Federalist right now. Started reading the Federalist Papers, dude. That shit is eye-opening. It's like reading a drama.
Really?
Like a play. It's so cool, dude.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
it's hundreds, if not thousands of pages long, but just reading that shit, knowing that our forefathers made it, and trying to keep things as simple as possible, I think I want to do that. Sounds cool for me. But yes, your original thing was third party. Jill Stein kind of fucked over the Green Party.
Yep.
I don't see them growing, but I do see the Libertarians growing. They just need to, less than the Democrats, they need to stand up for what they believe in, which is
Make
kind
a
of like
stance.
it's like that joke in Futurama where the guy's like all mutual and he's like, "Tell my wife I said hello." But the neutral gray guy, yeah, they just basically need to make a couple stances on certain things and everything else just say individualist. But you have to have a couple of them.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I think you would do better. I don't see it winning in 2020, but I see it growing.
Definitely growing. Maybe to a point where.
It can contend someday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would like to see that happen. That'd be cool.
Personally, regardless of my political party and that I'm registered as, I'm going to continue to vote for the person who I think is the best candidate of that election, regardless of what their party is. You know, if I can agree with them the most, and the things that I don't agree with them on aren't going to like super negatively affect things.
Yeah.
That's who I'm going to vote for. And I mean, I don't have a football team. so I've never
What about
really.
the Oakland Raiders, bro? Come on.
Nah, bruh. Nah, bruh.
Sorry, man.
But what do you guys think? Who is, going to be a good contender in 2020, and who would you like to see running? If you want, email us at openmindedepisodes@gmail.com or leave a comment down below.
Ya boy.
So before we go, I just wanted to tell you guys that Sean has his own YouTube channel, and you should definitely check it out. Sean, tell us about your channel.
Almost Flawed is the YouTube channel, and basically I take apart movies from the first conception. Doesn't matter if it was 100 years ago until it hit the screens. So it's called Making an Impact. I made a first episode, Iron Man. It came out 3 days ago. I think it's all right. Needs some work, but it's pretty cool if you like movies.
We'll leave a link down in the description, so you guys should definitely check it out. And Sean, it was a pleasure having you on. I'm definitely gonna have you on as a guest again. It was an awesome conversation.
I love you too, Peter.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Okie dokie.